Okay. Good afternoon, Deb. Lovely.
Okay.
So, Deb, you and I used to work together at Soul Advisor, and now you are the official CEO of the Cancer Wellness Support Centre. Is that
It's just Cancer Wellness Support.
Cancer Wellness Support in the Blue Mountains, Penrith, the western suburbs of Sydney, doing an amazing job. Is that how far you extend?
At the moment, we cover Blue Mountains to Penrith and across to the Hawkesbury. So I sort of see that as a triangle. You never know where it might expand beyond that, but at the moment, that's our focus. We are open for people beyond to connect with us, and we're building relationships into the Western Sydney. But typically, people that come to us, travel's not always a great option. So it typically is people that are close to those areas.
Yes. And, when you moved over there, I hadn't really known much about Cancer Wellness Support, and I still don't know very much. So hopefully you'll tell us lots. But it's a pretty exciting kind of an initiative that's been going now for how many years?
We're close to our 20-year anniversary, which will be next year. So it started in 2005. And as you said, I'm tentative to use the word unique because a lot of people use it. But what I love about it is its community approach to supporting people to access affordable cancer care. And it's not just focused on the individual. It's focused on their support network, which typically is their families and their loved ones. So that's pretty amazing.
It seems to me you don't stop there because, Cancer Wellness Support is funded to a large extent by some amazing op shops, and that involves whole big communities. And then every time I talk to anybody in your area, they know who you are. So it feels like you've managed to create this really organic network up there that helps those with cancer.
It totally, Kate. That to me is one of its major points of difference. It really is community in action. So what you just said then, we have two op shops. We have one in Katoomba and we have one in Penrith, and they contribute 94% of our revenue. So as a registered charity, not-for-profit, to have a very steady income stream coming through is amazing, because that means that we're here and we're stable and we can keep supporting our members in whatever way that they need that support. And then at the same time, that also engages the community in regards to donations and volunteers. And our op shops, we do a deliberate decision to not only keep our prices at a level that supports our community with good quality items, but we also have a portion, because we have so many donations, that will go out to other charities. So I'm really proud of the op shop and its way of it focusing, because it's not just about fundraising, it's also in one way giving back to the community as much as our centre is also giving back to the community. And then the other 6%, as you said, is all donations, fundraising, events, bequests. We're 100% self-funded. We don't get, apart from an occasional little grant here or there that we may be successful in, and we both know how hard it is to get a grant, we have no government funding. So it's 100% supported by community, for community. And I think that is pretty unique.
Well, I just love what you do, and I love the grassroots nature of it. I think that it's got such strong foothold in your community after 20 years. And the same is true with LovEarth. I mean, we've not been going for 20 years, but we have been going for 11. And, we've never had a grant or anything much like that either. It's just all been blood, sweat, and love.
That's what it is. And the founder was a lady called Robin Yates. And there's a story that Viv, our client service manager, says the power of one, because it really was a concept and an idea from a community nurse that saw there was a need in the area for that support. I love the fact that it acknowledges the incredible benefits of complementary therapies and the role that it plays for people that are going through that journey. And I love how it supports not just the individuals, but the wider network. And we can do that because it's our funding. So we don't have to do reporting and X amount goes to this person, X amount. We can do whatever the family needs. And even the therapists allow us to make it affordable because they believe in the purpose. So they bring us their rates, their therapy rates, they bring that significantly down so we can actually collaborate with the client and reduce it down to $35 for a treatment, which is incredible when you know that it can range upwards to 100 to 2 or 250, especially for counselling. You know, mental health is huge at the moment, and the support and the lack of it. And we're able to give access at $35 an hour. It's incredible.
It's truly remarkable, actually. You know,
Mm.
one of the biggest battles that you and I faced at Soul Advisor was making it all our amazing therapists had on offer accessible, wasn't it? Because
Definitely accessible. And if you remember, we did a lot of work with the National Institute of Complementary Medicine, and they did a study that said that, you know, from to the diagnosis of counselling, to the nausea that people experience, to cancer, to the embracing the new normal and bringing in complementary therapies to embrace wellness, everyone sees the benefits of complementary therapies. But 84% cited that it was the financial that was the obstacle, and nearly 50% said it was the only obstacle. So, you know, to be able to break down that barrier of financial constraint to allow for people to access it is amazing.
bravo.
Yay!
Hey.
One for the team.
Yeah, I know we've gone straight into the nitty-gritty of it all, but you know, traditional complementary integrative healthcare offers so much to somebody going through a dark night, you know, offers so much to somebody going through their own disease process, their own difficulties. Because I think so many of the therapies that we embrace and that you provide have to do with finding that sense of purpose, don't they? They've got a kind of a very much a earth, body, mind, spirit ethos to them. They're not just a treatment for the diagnosis, you know, for the actual disease process. They see it in the context of who that person is. So as you said, and I hadn't heard that figure before, it's an incredible percentage of people.
It's a huge thing. And what you've just said there too, like, we're really proud that we have a person-centered approach, which what that means is it's not only is complementary therapy in that space, but certain therapies will match certain people's likes and dislikes. I mean, if someone doesn't like touch, then offering them massage isn't the right approach. You know, if people are phobic about needles, then acupuncture with all its benefits isn't the way to go. Like, there's different ways that we can work with people based on what it is that they need, but also what it is that they feel comfortable with. And then looking at the services, you know, Viv often says to me, she'll have the conversation, and if they know they're in a church group, she says, I know they'll get casseroles from all their community, so I don't need to worry about food, you know. So it's actually building a program that sees that person. And then, as you said, as with the complementary therapy component, is we know that they actually are seen, you know, in its entirety, and how we can bring those two together. Yeah.
You often hear when somebody has had cancer, goes through cancer, goes on that journey, that you hear it continually. I learned so much, you know, there was so much positive stuff that came from having been through that process. And it's
Definitely.
yeah, and
definitely. And that's to me as well, Cate. When I first took on this job, a few people would say to me, first off, you know, amazing what you're doing, but gee, it would be sad to be in that space. It's a joyful place. I'm not saying that things aren't still being discussed and people are facing into their mortality, but it is also a wake-up call to say, embrace every moment that's in front of you, you know, and that we really focus on the wellness and the joy of life, because all of us at some stage will get to that point, but cancer can actually be that wake-up call to say, this is what it is about. And that's why, for me, when we say embracing the new normal, we're seeing that cancer isn't always a death sentence. It can actually be just that little bit of a wake-up call to embrace and be enjoying what you have in front of you, and then looking after yourself. You know, too often our self-care does dip, and that has implications. And by no means is that saying if you're not looking after yourself, you're getting cancer, because again, it's not about judgment. It's not about guilt. We have to let go of all that. But it does give you that fork in the road to actually say, I'm going to put my needs first.
Beautiful. Well, we could talk a lot about that. What I'd love to hear a little bit about is your yoga classes up there, because, you know, LovEarth is all about providing yoga mats. And
Yep.
as you know, I've got 36 of them rattling around in my boot for you. I'm very careful to give you the creme de la creme. So we're very
Thank
thankful
you.
to Tonic Media Group. They do a lot of PR. They're based in Surrey Hills and they're amazing. And they've provided 36 yoga mats that
Well, thank you very much.
yeah, and
To
they're all matching. You know, normally when I hand out yoga mats, it's from a studio or from here, there, and everywhere, and they're every type of yoga mat. These are all pale, beautiful grey and in perfect
Beautiful.
working condition. So hopefully
Beautiful.
they'll
Thank
help.
you very much to you and to them.
No.
They'll be gratefully received. So
Great.
yes, yoga is very much a strong component of our programs. We have access to 27 complementary therapies, but yoga plays a vital part. And it's not just in the movement component, but it's also, we see it as a key component in our lymphedema management program, that movement is key. And so we run both one-offs, events and programs, bringing in yoga movements around assisting the lymph system to actually to be assisted, because as we know, when you go through that procedure, it can actually be impacted. So our lymph, or all about lymph workshops, is a predominant workshop program that we actually promote. But as I said, movement in itself, be it Qigong or Fundraising, which we call wise moves, movement is an element that we really put a lot of emphasis in. And it's interesting too, Cate, it was probably now 2 weeks ago that I went to the Integrative Oncology Symposium at Chris O'Brien's Lifehouse. And the evidence-based information and research that's now coming, demonstrating what we've all known, but that exercise and the movement of the body, even through treatment, it actually will demonstrate not only an ability to heal a lot quicker, to be able to absorb more quickly, but to move forward a lot. You know, it's that component of movement and exercise, and in particular, what you're saying in yoga is important. And then the second thing is that whole stress management component that they're saying, the reduction of stress. And yes, meditation is a component of that, but we also know that being on the mat actually allows you to tap in and connect with self as well. And so, yeah, for me, it's a strong part of what we offer and we advocate for all different ages.
I think also the coming together in a group, you know, in terms of yoga,
Definitely.
socializing with people that have been through a similar journey to yourself is very, very useful. And
Totally.
it's fun. Yoga's fun.
And
So
social isolation is a major part. It's a major part that we believe in Cancer Wellness Support. We play a role in that because, as you see, you're bringing people together. And both our centres deliberately are like going to a home. There's enough clinical, sterile environments for people. It's about allowing people to come in, have a yoga class, connect with someone else, have a cup of tea, read a book, watch a tree, walk on the grass, whatever it is that you're needing. It's about you coming and visiting and being in someone's home.
That's just so beautiful. You know, that sense of belonging, well, they've proved it. There's lots of research around that, but you know, that not feeling lonely, feeling like you don't belong, etc., is a precursor to a whole lot of nasty conditions, isn't it? There is one kind of you know, little dark cloud in my head around all this stuff, which is, you know, the reason that we're getting rid of plastics, we are getting rid of plastics out of our yoga practice. You know, why people still make the choice to use plastics in their yoga practice, I just don't understand, except for the dollar. It is cheap to buy a PVC mat, but it's carcinogenic. So PVC plastics is highly carcinogenic, and we give you secondhand ones, which is a good thing because they're more carcinogenic when they're new. By the time they've been used a bit, they're less carcinogenic. And you know, you think you're down there doing your down dog and doing your plank and up down Tadasana, etc. All of those things very close to the mat, and the mats are carcinogenic if they have PVC in them.
Wow.
So it does scare me a lot. I wish we could say that the steady flow of plastic yoga mats is decreasing, but it's not, and it carries on. So this is a little bit scary and hard to bear, you know.
And that's
Anyway,
the thing, isn't it, Kate? It's that whole thing. And I think you could take that wider in every decision that people make. You know, when you are faced with limited funds, which most of us in that position, you do feel like, you know, I need to do X, Y, Z, and therefore, you know, because I can afford it, but you don't know what the thing down the line, the impact of what that actually is. And sometimes investing in good quality, as you're saying, or removing that in the long term is a better decision than it would be in making something a little bit cheaper. But it's hard at the time to have those conversations because it is quite tricky, you know, when people are in limited situations.
absolutely. You know, the range of what you can pay for a yoga mat is insane. It's anything between $9 and $180, you know. So it becomes a financial choice as well as everything else.
But there'd be certain things I would say right at the top that it gets to a point where it becomes branding or prestige or whatever. You can still get good quality. It's like a bottle of wine. Do you mean there's a certain point where you get good quality and then all of a sudden you're purchasing the label as opposed to the wine? And I would say the yoga mats are probably very similar, that you pay for quality for a period of time and then you're just looking for the Instagram worthy one.
Yeah. Yes, Versace has put out a yoga mat, for example.
Oh, okay.
It comes with a gold kind of bag, the whole thing. Anyway, I actually think that one was something crazy, like $400 that I saw.
$400, and was it made out of plastic, Kate?
It was made out of something that's slightly different, a TPE, but it's still a plastic derivative and chemical derivative. So it wasn't PVC, but it was still a little bit horrible. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's beautiful about how you've approached it, is you come from an ethical perspective. And I know you, and I know that every decision you make is from that space, right through to the actual the chain of supply and the ink that's actually created, and all, like everything that's in there is not just an ethical level, but it's made with love and with integrity.
Well, you know, it's all about it, isn't it? We need to keep progressing the world towards back to its pristine, perfect, good health. And all of us who are in it. And so anything that can be done on that journey, any tiny little, well, it feels small and tiny, but it's not small and tiny, because then you tell people about it and it spreads like a tiny ripple that grows and grows and grows. So, you know, eventually all of us working together will get there, Deb. And I'm really
always going to get there, Kate.
with you.
That was why I always our catch. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, might take a few more generations.
Well, it might have to come back down for another incarnation, you think?
At least one. Well, Deb, thank you so much for joining us today and having a little chat about cancer wellness support. We'll put all the details and how to connect with you and to support your good work and model from what you're doing, because not everybody lives in the Blue Mountains in Penrith. So
no, they don't. And that's, you know, to me, if I was to have a vision for cancer wellness support, is that I could take that model and take it with me wherever I go. Because to me, as long as you've got a community, which all of us have, good quality therapists and people living with cancer, which again is everywhere, that model can be duplicated. And I would love to pick that up and take that to every place that I speak to, because most people go, I love what you do, but are you here? Are you here? And you know, one day I'll get that level of support to do that. I want to at least bring it to the Illawarra and down the South Coast, Kate. I'll have less things to travel.
Well, let's go there together. LovEarth is in a similar difficulty, that people absolutely love what we do, collecting all the old yoga mats, making a mat that's biodegradable, can be put in your compost, not polluting, etc., not polluting to self, not polluting to planet. But we can only at the moment handle dealing with Australia. We get people in Denmark and Fiji and America and everywhere else wanting what we do, but we will all get there and just grow.
Let's put it out there, Kate. Let's put that little seed that someone's going to listen to this one day and says, I need to connect with these two people.
Yeah, connect with us, please. Until then, thank you very, very much. And may cancer wellness support go from strength to strength. And I will get this boot of mats to you
Thanks,
and we'll
Kate.
carry on.
Much love.
Thanks, everyone.